love a netted rope because there is a lot of white space between the beads, so it gives it kind of an airy feel to it. The downside of a netted rope is that it collapses down on itself. There's nothing holding it open other than the tension of your thread, and over time your thread will get softer and softer, and so it kind of collapses down. A lot of people don't like that look. So what people have developed over time is what's called filled netting, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. Let's take a look at the beads. I am going to fill the inside of my netting with these fire polish here. And one of the great things about this particular project is it's very adaptable to what you want to put in the center. Today I'm using the 6mm fire polish, but I have used as small as 3mm fire polish before. I've used 4mm fire polish. I've used top drilled pearls so that they kind of stick out from your necklace. Pearls look fabulous in this particular project. So just know that you can do a whole bunch of different kinds of filling on the inside of your netted rope. And here's how you're going to start it out. You're actually going to start it out with a round of your filling. So I'm going to pick up a fire polish. I'm picking up one of what's going to be my crossover bead on my netting. And here's the thing, if you need a primer on just basic netting, I do have a link for that, and I will pop up a link or a video on that, and I'll pop up a link for you to get there if you need it. But this is going to be my filler, or I'm sorry, my crossover bead, and then another filler bead, let's see here, and another crossover bead, and then another filler, and one last crossover. So I've got 3 of each. There we go. 3 of each going on. I'm going to bring those down so that I've got about 4 to 6 inches of thread below them. And then from the tail end back up, I'm going to pass through all those beads again. There we go. And we want to make sure my tail doesn't pull out as I do that, so let me hold on to that. There we go. And then to truly turn it into a circle, we're going to have to keep going past the tail here. So I'm going to go through a filler bead and come out one of my little crossover beads. Okay. So there we go. That's the very basic beginning of our piece. Now what I'm going to do is going to be more of a traditional netting stitch is what we're going to do now. We're going to create the wings, and the wings are going to have to fly over. They're going to have to be big enough so that they fly over these center filler beads. So this is where you'll make any adjustments that you need to. Say if you were using a much smaller bead here, you wouldn't have to use quite as many beads in this wing to get it to fly over. In this case, I'm going to guess that I need about 3 of my size 11 seed beads here. And then I'm going to do one of my crossover beads. Your crossover bead does not have to be a different color. It's just easier when you're starting out with netting to be able to see it that way. And then 3 more of my netting beads. And then I'm going to just pass through, go in whichever direction is most comfortable for you. I'm going to go through the next bead over. And what you want to do is just take a look at it. Make sure that you've got enough beads in there that you're not seeing any thread as you kind of pull that up. So I'm not seeing any big thread holes there, so that looks like it's just about the perfect amount of beads. So we'll keep adding wings. So I've got 2 more wings to add here. So I've got 3 of my bronze, 1 crossover, and 3 bronze. I'm going to pass through the next crossover bead, and then 1 more wing to add here. 3 bronze, crossover, oops, come back, and then 3 bronze, and back through that very first crossover bead over here. Okay, so now we need to do our step up. So see how I'm kind of cupping this upward so that, because what we want to do is grow it as a tube. And I'm going to do my step up. And what I want to do is pass through the first set of beads here on this wing so that I'm coming out that crossover bead on this wing. So I'm just passing up through the 3 bronze and then through that crossover bead up at the tip. Now we're ready to add another set of the filling beads. And the way we're going to do that is I'm picking up a 6mm fire polish, and I'm just going to pass through the crossover bead in the next wing over. And that's what's going to fill in our center. And I'll do the same thing here through the next center bead, and then one last filler bead through that crossover bead. And you'll start feeling it getting nice and solid. What I like to do is, depending on how big the beads are in your center, you might want to go back and reinforce that line. Because these are 6mm beads, if I were just doing this for myself, they're fairly substantial. And so I would actually go back through and reinforce this before I then added my next set of wings. But because I'm on video, I'm just going to go ahead and show you. I want to do one more set of wings here and show you how this grows. So same thing now, we're going to add our next set of wings. So it's 3 bronze, your crossover, 3 bronze, and I'm just passing through the next crossover bead. Next wing, 3, crossover, and 3, through the next crossover, and then your last wing, 1, 2, 3, crossover, and 3. This is where I'm going through the bottom crossover to attach this last wing, and then I need to do my step up, and my step up is through the first 3 bronze and your crossover to get to the top of the wing. There we go. I'll kind of pop these wings upward, and now this is where we add our filler again. So after you've added a set of wings, we fill the wings. And picking up 1, passing through that crossover bead of the next wing. We just do that 3 times. Well, sometimes you can get through that bead easy, and sometimes he wants to be a booger. There we go. All right. And so as I tighten that up, there we go. And you can see how beautiful that is because it just outlines these center filling beads with the netted ropes. And you can actually see here, this one right here, as I'm growing this is a little spot. If you look here, I'm actually seeing some thread between these beads here. So at this point, what I would actually do is go back and start using 4 beads between the crossover beads instead, so that I could make that thread go away. You want to go ahead and fill it in really well. So that was something that I couldn't really see until I had just a little section done, but that's what you're looking for. So that's my my note to myself, that if I'm using those 6mm beads in the center, I really want to do at least 4 seed beads and then a crossover bead and 4 seed beads. So just there's another way I'm actually glad that happened, so I could show you how I choose how many beads I put on either side of my crossover bead. And then you're just going to keep growing this as long as you want. Once you get to the end of your rope, you add a clasp on one end, add a clasp on the other, and you've got yourself a bracelet or a necklace. This is a really good one to play with all sorts of different kinds of beads on those inside filler beads. So make sure that you have a good time with them. I've got several kits that use this particular technique on my website at jillwisemandesigns.com. So if you're looking for a put together set of beads, I've got that there for you. Enjoy beading. Thanks.